we would really like to know, how was your career journey? Like, what are the main roadblocks that you faced, and how did you overcome those? I'm sure, because I'm pretty sure you had a lot of career roadblocks, because the time when you started, the advancement of technology was not this much. So, how was your career journey?
Okay. I would not consider career roadblocks. I don't think that's a great word. What everything is an opportunity. And I used to work for an Australian origin CFO, and I was the controller for the company. That one line that he said has stayed with me forever. So I'm going to say that again here. So he said that, Aditya, if I have to hire for skill versus attitude, attitude wins any day. And that, in a sense, is what's defined my career. So I've always looked upon roles, and again, try to make this extremely practical. I think when you are applying for roles or you're building your profile at a firm, the most important thing that you want to know is your current skill should qualify you for 50% of the role, that roughly 50% of the role that you're going to play there. The remaining 50% should make you scared. That means is that you have no idea how you're going to achieve the remaining 50%, and therein lies the ability for you to expand your knowledge base, right? And experience base. So if you have a role that is 50-50, where 50% you can execute with your eyes closed and 50% you're just scared, pantless, quote unquote, because you don't know how you're going to achieve that. That is a perfect role, right? If it's 70-30, you are coasting. If it's 100-0, then you've got the wrong job. And I think that's how you need to look at your career as you move forward. Now, coming back to my career, I kind of applied this principle all through. I started in essentially core programming technology role because I was a computer science engineer at Motorola. And then when I got to a certain point, I was very keen to see how businesses work. And again, that was more like a 80% I don't know what I'm doing kind of thing. So I did get my MBA along the way when I had that urge. And I had to get it in something that gave me an initial leg in. So I did my MBA in finance and strategy. And then that gave me a good leg from a finance ladder perspective, because translating computer skills, programming skills to number skills was an easy jump, right? So hopefully you see the 50-50 thing happening right there. So I could knowledgeably do, let's say, all of financial and strategic planning activities for the firm, but the remaining 50% was all strategic thinking. How do you think strategically about problems? And I was very fortunate in my role to have really a diverse set of senior executives, both diversity, male, female, as well as nationalities. So I got to learn a lot. And most of my career had been in the US. So I got just the melting pot element meant that I was able to interact with all these folks and really gain insights into how do you look at a scenario or a situation for maybe 7 or 8 different dimensions. And that's a learned skill. That ain't a skill you're going to learn in school. And that gave me a lot of confidence, when we talk about strategic thinking or having a gravitas, knowing that you have an innate intrinsic confidence that, oh, I will be able to solve this problem. That really comes when you solve tough problems, when you have no idea what you're going to do, and you make it a success. So that was the jump from kind of technology to finance to then business. And then, because of my propensity to be highly quantitative, analytics was the next big jump. Again, it was again another 50-50. I jumped in a large financial service organization where I didn't know much analytics. I was completely self-learned, and it was challenging. It was more, in that situation, I think it was more like 65. 35, I knew what I was getting into. 65, I had no idea. But then I put a lot of effort myself to self-learn, and at that point in time, there weren't a lot of courses and such. So you had to just kind of pick up a book and get onto your computer and program a bunch of stuff. But I did that while I was heading a line of business. So I started to get very quickly familiar with all the terminology, the different levers when you're doing analytical modeling work, and how you deliver business impact. So there's a lot of osmosis of learning, both on the business side, the technical side, and also interaction with the data scientists. So I became, quote unquote, so I graduated, moved from core technology to finance to business to now core and data analytics leader. And I essentially became what McKinsey calls as the analytics translator role. And then that role morphed deeper into doing this at different domains. So right from fraud work to marketing work, marketing analytics, so fraud analytics, marketing analytics, credit risk analytics, and now it's a lot more regulatory oriented analytics. And then the last year and a half has been with the massive adoption of Gen AI. Has been Gen AI centric, and I think a common theme here was take roles where you're constantly learning, you're having to read, right? So it's not passive learning, it's active learning. And then at the same time, you're always open to new influences that you get. And influences don't just come within the organization, influences come from outside the organizations, but from the prospects that you're talking to, from industry experts that you're dealing with, and so on, of course internal folks too. So these are the kind of things that have driven my career. And I would say by and large I've been pretty satisfied and happy. I have always, as they say, jumped off a cliff with a parachute strapped on, right? That's kind of been the mantra for me, or that's a good analogy of how I run my career so far, and I'm pretty satisfied with it.
That's very inspiring. I mean, I have hardly seen anyone who have their entire career based on this much urge to learn and then go from role to role. I mean, that's very inspiring. So thank you so much.